Good evening, this is Brecht from Xroot Games, and today I'm gonna talk about the simple network sync tutorial and library that is from for PUN, and also my project that I'm working on, and one error I had there. So first off, the SNS or simple network sync library for Photon. It's actually like some kind of a high-level library that has like functions for pickups and mounts and well, mounting a pickup somewhere, not like an animal mount in WoW, it's different, and weapons and like there's like all kinds of stuff, but it's very high level, so I kind of don't really like this approach, but apparently it's a good implementation for synchronization, because in networking you need to synchronize networked objects so that one client has more or less the same information as the other client at the same time, and the better you do this, the smoother the playability will be and the less lag you will have. So in PUN, by default, they don't solve the problem of synchronization, and apparently this simple network sync library improves on that and has better synchronization than PUN has. At least this is what the Photon devs said about it. It's probably true, but the problem I have with it is it's a bit too high level for me. And I don't really like that approach personally. I learned to work with PUN now, and I think this is what I'm going to continue using for now. And if I run into any problems with lag or any other issues, then I'll just see what I can do to solve that. Maybe I'll have to even go as deep as Photon real time or something. We'll really have to see what I have to do about that. But for now, I think this will be my solution, just pure PUN. And I just took a look into simple network sync or SNS because someone told me to, and they said, well, it has better synchronization. It might be better for like a fast-paced game, but it's too high level for me to enjoy using, so I'll probably just switch to PUN or to continue using PUN and look for solutions to synchronization myself if I find that's needed. Okay, so that's one on the SNS library, and secondly, today I worked on my own project Zombies. So it's like just a simple network PUN game, PUN shooter, top-down shooter. But it's gonna be more or less survival zombie. There's one zombie, but it's not functioning yet, so I have things to do now. But I ran into quite a really nasty error today, and it was really hard. It took me like half a day, or at least like 2-3 hours at least to solve. And it was an issue with execution order, because the camera was positioned, okay, so this is the object, and the camera needs to be positioned above the object and in a straight line so that it's right behind and on top of the player. But there was a problem where the camera was skewed, so it was rotated in some way, and it looked at the player from a weird angle. And that wasn't very nice, and that wasn't my intention, so that was a bug. Now, the problem here was that I'm actually rotating the transform of the player, according to the position of the mouse. So if you have the mouse cursor somewhere, the player should look at the mouse cursor and aim at the mouse cursor, because it needs to shoot to that direction. But the problem was my camera was attached to my main player as a child, so when the main player rotates, the camera rotates also. Because it's a child, and that's how children of transforms work in Unity. But there was a problem because the order of updates weren't right, or the order of execution wasn't right, because first the player rotated and then it calculated the position of the camera, which is now skewed. It's skewed. It's not good anymore. So I had to fix something in the order of execution. I had to set the camera before. I had to set that the camera has to execute before the movement script did, and now everything is solved. But this was confusing because I thought that start functions always run before update functions, and this is what they say in the documentation. But I had an issue where the update function of the movement function was running before the start function of the camera, and this is what caused really nasty things, because I thought start always runs before update, but that's actually not the case when we're talking about different scripts. So it's possible one script just does start and update, and then the other script still needs to start before it updates. That's possible. So that's what happened, and that's what caused my bugs. So then I solved it with script order execution in Unity, because now the camera will always start before the player movement script starts, and this just solves my issue. So it was a problem with order of execution, and so my tip to you is don't rely on order of execution if you don't really know how it works. It's quite random, and you have to really set them. If you're relying on them, you have to really set them in your script execution order in the preferences menu. So that's important. But yeah, that was most for today. I'm gonna continue working on my zombie project right now, and we'll see tomorrow what will happen. I'm gonna take a week for myself to really focus on my networking skills, and maybe I'll make a project after that. Maybe I'll make a project for a client after that, probably. So yeah, if you have any questions or suggestions or comments, just feel free to leave a comment. Like the video if you like the video, it will help me out a lot. Also subscribe if you can. And this is me logging out for tonight. So yeah, this is X Script Game logging out. Have a good night. Goodbye.